Bad engineer.
Okay.
Bad engineer.
We're live.
Okay.
Stop playing with all the engineering stuff.
Can't help it.
All right. What is this thing that we're
Welcome
doing?
to Show and Tell, where everyone shows off their projects and has a good time at this party. If you're not at Burning Man, you're here. But you know, like we have like cold drinks and showers, and I think that's also very nice. You got some fun people showing off stuff today. More people will probably join in.
Yeah.
We're running for about a half an hour. We'll call on you in the order we see you. So far, it's going to be Noah and Pedro, Tony.
Tony first, then Noah and Pedro.
Sorry, Tony first.
And then
Noah
Jay.
and Pedro.
And then Roberto. So far.
Jay and Roberto and whoever else shows up. So take a couple minutes, show off your project, and tell us what's new.
The Show and Tell is every week, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time.
Yes.
Every Wednesday.
Yes.
We've been doing this for 2 years in a row.
2 years.
Yeah. So here we go, and we're celebrating.
I still look delicious.
I was looking through the last few years. You're looking younger. I'm getting older. I think you're a vampire or something. Anyways.
Grizzled.
Yeah. All right, Tony.
Hey.
So it's projects. What are you working on this week?
Yeah. So I've been playing a little bit with the BeagleBone Black and trying to get a reliable Wi-Fi connection. So a lot of people have had a lot of issues and just getting it to work. So. And here's just a quick kind of picture. So this crazy contraption is one of the really fancy kind of high-gain USB Wi-Fi adapters, and it's just hooked into a BeagleBone Black. So the couple things that I found, I just published a guide about it that people should check out. But there's a known issue where the HDMI port on the BeagleBone Black, it's on the back here behind the USB port. It conflicts with the USB or with the Wi-Fi signal. So there's a power and a ground plane. So you have to be really careful. If you have one of these real small adapters, like the tiny little Wi-Fi adapter, and you plug it right into the USB port, it doesn't work very well because it's too close to that signal. So you can do a couple things. You can disable the HDMI signal if you manipulate the device tree. That's kind of annoying to lose that. Or the easiest thing, the low-tech solution, is just get a little extension. Like here's a tiny little hub. Or even just a little USB extension cable, and that'll move it out away from the USB port. And I did a bunch of testing and saw, if you didn't do that, then maybe only 3 out of 10 times when you booted up the device would the Wi-Fi connection work. So if you move it out, it gets a little bit more stable. And the other big thing is the kernel version. So if you've dealt with the BeagleBone Black a little bit, you might have dealt with the kernel. It's using an older 3.8 version kernel, and that's just an artifact of TI has a bunch of patches they made to support the hardware, and it takes a long time to get those integrated into the mainline kernel. So they're working on getting fancier kernels, but if you've used like a Raspberry Pi, it has a much higher version kernel.
Yeah, they're like 3.15 now.
Exactly, yeah. So it's got a lot better drivers, things are more stable, and you can use those later kernels on the BeagleBone Black. You just have to be careful because you'll lose some support, like the device tree overlays don't work. But I found if you actually use a little update script that's included, it'll give you the latest 3.8 version kernel, and that's pretty stable. It works pretty well. And I made a little script that's also included that reboots or resets the Wi-Fi connection on boot, and that really helped with stability. So now, 10 times out of 10 when I boot it up, it actually comes up with a Wi-Fi connection. So that's super useful to have it. And then the other real quick thing, I haven't done much with it, but so the brand new Pro Trinket, this is the 5-volt version. I put kind of a crude little right angle header on here. I just bent some pins into the right connection. But it connects to, here's the Bluefruit Easy Link. And so you can just put both these together. Oops, in there almost. There we go.
There you go.
So, pretty cool. It actually works. I just tested it out and was able to program the Pro Trinket wirelessly with the Bluetooth connection. I wasn't sure it would work because I think you're supposed to have a capacitor on the DTR line, I want to say.
Oh, there is one. It's on the board.
Oh, okay, perfect. So yeah, so it's pretty slick. Just put a right angle header on. You have to be careful about the orientation, so make sure you get like the ground and the power lines to match up. But it's kind of neat. It's like a little stick that just has everything ready to go.
I was gonna say it reminds me of remember those Linux, the gum stick?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Real kind of long, like memory stick length stuff.
Yeah, very cool. All right, Tony. Well, thank you for running that one down all the way to the end with BeagleBone Wi-Fi. You're gonna make a lot.
This is actually a 2-year endeavor because I've been trying to get or figure out why Wi-Fi was flaky for quite a while on the BeagleBone Black. Which on the Raspberry Pi, I remember when it first came out, it didn't have support for the Realtek. But I recompiled the kernel and added the latest version in, and it actually worked really well, and it's been extremely stable. In fact, it's like the kind of like the default Wi-Fi dongle used by everyone. I think the like Wi-Fi is the same chipset and everything. So it's odd that the BeagleBone Black didn't have support, but the kernel version actually does explain a lot of it, and
Right.
it is quite hard to figure that out. So big ups.
Good work. Okay. Next up, Noah and Pedro, also part of Team Adafruit. What you got going?
Hey guys, happy Wednesday. Wrapping up, getting ready for another Thursday. Oh my god, this week is so special. Raspberry apple pie. Whoa, no, this is
so cute. Look at it.
Pie. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
This is a project that was inspired by John Badger, and this time we're using the Mini Pi TFT 2.8 touchscreen, and it's pretty awesome. We want to show you just a quick little demo. On the black one, we have running just like a ROM emulator. On the other side, we have Mini VMac, which allows you to boot into Mac OS 7 and play your favorite Mac apps. So what do we got there? We got Mac.
Yeah, what's cool is that you don't actually have to run. It looks like a Mac, but it can be anything. So you're like, you can run the Cupcake image on it, and then you're like, well, I'm gonna play, Nintendo games or arcade games instead.
Yeah, so you can play arcade games.
This is fun.
Yes, it's basically like another form factor for the Pi Girl. Yeah. Back has HDMI panel cables.
Yep.
You can plug into external stuff. You get access to all the stuff like the audio and the video, USB ports, side stuff. And the handles actually,
All right, fun.
The handles actually work. Cool. And then Pedro, you have a very cool project. Yes. Also. Some material. Got some transparency in there. What's going on here?
Oh, that's like from the future. This is from 2001: Space Odyssey. Isn't this at the end? The space babies.
Where all the children are raised by Daft Punk. Yes,
Yeah.
that's the future. This is great. So the coolest thing about I think this project is it wouldn't have been possible unless you had a giant printer. So you use the open source Tazbot with this, right?
Oh yeah. You use every inch of the build plate for as big as it could go. Yeah, so we'll show this off next week. Looks like my son is starting to light up.
And how many hours did it take to print out that helmet? It's one piece, right?
Yeah, it's one piece. Not counting all the hours, just one successful one, right? About 49 hours.
Yeah, not hours, days.
Days. It actually took 49 hours. That's amazing.
Yeah. And that's after I messed up twice, so a little bit more than that. Yeah.
You have to be really this print will work. Like you have to not touch it, not breathe on it.
Yeah, and you gotta remember you're running out of filament too, so you're constantly watching it and going, oh no, is it gonna work? Ah.
You have to have a fresh reel of filament just for. But it's amazing because it's like you see other prop makers who've made helmets like this, and you can do it without 3D printing. You can handcraft it, but it either costs a couple $100.
Yeah.
Or
you have to be a prop master.
Or you're spending all your time molding and crafting, and then you make one, and then you can't. If you make a mistake, you can't start over. So even though it's a 49-hour print is kind of epic, you leave it in your garage and you go out for a long walk or something. Play with your kids.
And everybody, don't forget to tune in every Thursday, 3 p.m. ET.
Yeah. Show tomorrow.
Okay, so this is the raspberry apple pie.
Yeah. All right. Next up. Hey Jay, unmute your mic and show us your LED goggles.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got a couple different things going on here. This is actually for a project Eric, who's also on, and I did for a theater company. They wanted to make an interactive show for a fringe festival, a theater festival here, and they were thinking, oh, we'll just make some LED costumes and stuff like that. So we did that for them. We got the goggles here. We've got a little headband over here.
That's nice.
Just some wire that's stripped, connected, and lots of hot glue is your friend. And then also we wanted to make it more interactive with the audience. So let me see if I can share my screen. Screen number 1. Can you see this?
Just give it a second. There you go. The journey.
Yes. So and this is actually a live demo right now. If you want to go to noexitalice.com. So NoExit is the name of the company. So just one big word, noexitalice.com, and then it'll ask you to put in a code 1313 is the code, 1313. And so the audience went to this. We told them to turn on their smartphones at the start of the show. Instead, turn them off. Mm-hmm. They went to this website, put in the code, and then they can actually participate. So the director was in the back opening up the questions. So this is actually the admin console. And then you open up the question, and then we get all these lights, which are beside me. I don't know, can you still see my webcam at the same time?
Yeah, you can only see one or the other.
Okay. So if I stop it in a second here, you can see that the lights lit up basically as soon as you open the question. That tells the audience that the lights are white so they can go ahead and start voting. It also opens it up on that noexitalice.com website so that they can go ahead and vote. And as they vote, their answers are then taken as input. It polls basically that URL every like third of a second. So we hosted all this like on top of a Heroku, which is just like an AWS type solution. We actually work for Salesforce, so we got it for free, so that was nice. And then people just used their smartphones. The admin ran it from there, and then the Raspberry Pi went ahead and polled it every third of a second, and then updated it right over USB serial. Didn't have to do any of the fun serial stuff with a Python script, and it was actually pretty easy. Someone has voted blue now, so if the third answer, if you want to take that away, let's see if I can switch back to screen share off. How do I do that?
Okay. I see the LED strip has changes color based on...
Yeah, so if people want to vote for something else, they could, if I vote for question 3 here, and if we all, what should Alice ride, we choose like ostrich, right? If enough of us vote, so now it's switching over to another answer.
Okay.
So it just wipes over the answers, and then when you close the question, which I will do now, oh, red is going to win if I don't close the question. So if I close the question, then it goes ahead and extinguishes the LED and tells the director what the answer was, and of course the actors then respond to that. So it was a fun project, 2 weeks, a very intense 2 weeks, and then we're also going to make this Node.js website and the electronic source code available on GitHub, so other people can change it.
Wow.
I love interactive theater plus LEDs is a good time.
Yes.
Very cool project. You know, all the theater stuff in New York now is like audience participation, or like you are the...
Yeah, immersive theater is fun. Also, we have seen like the Brooklyn Ballet made those LED tutus that were reactive.
And then Illuminate, it's all EL wire stuff.
And,
it's really cool.
And LEDs. So yeah, I think that people love it and they react to it. And
okay.
Yeah, I like that you're like turn on your smartphone.
Yeah.
Good. Like,
so it's the only time.
To turn them off anyway.
Yeah.
So
next up, we're gonna go to Roberto, and then after that, we're gonna go to Lon, and then Brett. So Roberto, welcome to the show and tell. Welcome back.
Oh, hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
hey.
Cool. I kind of have a dual project to show off today. So I'm working on Roller. I kind of showed it the last time. It's this tracked wheel thing controlled by the Realtek.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so there it is. But lately, or not lately, but yeah, lately I've been wanting to document what I'm doing. So I want to like have like a still lapse photo thing going on. So Dual project is a Raspberry Pi camera application that will take pictures while I'm working on Roller. So today it's just about showing the user interfaces that I have so far for it.
So you made a Raspberry Pi project to help you document your Raspberry Pi project.
Yes, yeah. The one that I want to document is Roller, and the Raspberry Pi project. Sorry, the camera project. Takes pictures of the others.
Yeah.
And so, do y'all see the screen share now? It should be a
you got your bare toe.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the frequency. So I could set that to like 10, and then this it would be seconds, hours. It's not working yet, other than it's turning on and off. So if I turn it off, it'll say the state has been set to off, or if I turn it on, so that actually works. So like I said, it's in progress, and the next thing to do is to like calculate how many milliseconds 5 hours would be, and so it would take a picture every 5 hours. That's not realistic, but if I wanted to do 2 hours, I could set it to do that. So that's the user interface for that. And so for Roller itself, the project, that's a little more real world. I have this interface for it, and it's kind of reusing stuff I did for the lizard closer, so you have to excuse that reference.
No, I want lizards on your robot. I want lizard-controlled rovers.
Okay, I'll see what I can do. So, so this interface here is what you'll use to control Roller. And so when you click on it, it tells you like you're moving backward, right, just backward, forward, left, and then it'll send those commands over the Wi-Fi to the back to the Raspberry Pi that's hosting this page. And right now I'm just developing on my laptop in NetBeans. So localhost is just my laptop, but eventually it'll be sending it to the Raspberry Pi that's attached to that Realtek motor control. And just lastly, I don't want to take too much time. All the code is already on GitHub. For Photorama is the Raspberry Pi one, and then Roller is just Roller.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Alright.
thanks for having me.
Your collection of projects are getting really
great.
impressive, Roberta. Well, you get an As Seen on the Show and Tell sticker. You can put it on your.
Yeah, he gets two. One for the roller and
Yeah.
one for the
Yeah,
time lapse.
yeah.
You get 2 stickers.
You get 2 stickers.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, I'm not sure how to get off, but thank you.
All right. Next up, we're
Lon's
going to go
next.
to Lon.
Hey, Lon.
Hey, Lon, how's it going?
Hey, is the mic working?
Yeah.
Yay. So, a little more progress on that space gun project I'm working on.
Yeah, space gun.
So, I mentioned before the plan was some NeoPixel rings on the sides there and some strips across the top. But I don't want to have the NeoPixel boards exposed. So I wanted to make like a little snap-on cover that fit over the NeoPixel ring. And I don't have a 3D printer, so much in contradiction to what Lamar was just saying about casting and molding, I decided to go down that route.
Hey, look, you gotta use the tools you got. I'm saying,
Exactly.
I personally, cannot do. I'm not that good at the casting and molding thing, especially something like helmet size. Man, I couldn't do it.
Yeah, that's a
Do
big
it.
one. This is my first, my second 2-part mold. So I took a 12 pixel ring, I made a silicone cast of that,
Cool.
That's cool.
and then I cast that in urethane plastic.
Oh,
And then I sculpted on top of that using a product called epoxy, which is a sort of 2-part epoxy clay. I made my little cover,
woo.
and I sculpted that right on top of the little plastic version of the NeoPixel so that when I pulled that out, it would snap back in there.
Okay.
All of the squares don't seem to be perfectly lined up on the original NeoPixel, so I had to enlarge the little windows a little bit. And then it was off to make a... So then I heated up the whole thing with a heat gun, which softened the plastic, and I pulled that out. That left me with this this clay version. And then I polished and finished that, and then I made a 2-part urethane mold out of that.
Wow.
And then I cast it, and I just pulled it out like 10 minutes ago.
That looks nice.
That works.
And so that's why all the little webbing isn't pulled out yet.
Yeah.
To make the 2 parts so they come apart, you have to put a little webbing in there, sort of like the infill on a 3D project. And then that's going to go... Yep, going to go... sit still. Going to go right there on the space gun. So the NeoPixels will snap into this, the wires will go through the middle, and then that will be glued onto the gun using just a regular silicone sealer. So I can pry it off if I need to later.
All right, it's a nice gun. It's gonna be very glowy.
It's going to be very glowy. The original gun, I think I mentioned, is a $3 dollar store squirt gun.
Okay.
All right. Well, you get an As Seen on the Show and Tell sticker. You can put it inside the battery case or just
Mold it.
display it proudly before you zap someone with space gun. So it's up to you. All right. Next up, Brett.
Red.
Hey,
Hello.
can you hear me?
Yep, you sound great.
Great. Cool. I'll try not to gush too much, but it's pretty cool hanging out with your heroes, so excited to be here.
You
what
don't,
I've got,
you don't understand. You guys are our heroes because it means we get to hang out and not do a show for like a half an hour or like packages or do stuff. Like, can you guys hang out here all the time?
I wish I could like run a theater company and make LED concerts.
You guys are our
That
heroes.
was, like, awesome.
until the end of the night when you guys are ready to get dinner.
Yeah.
We're not going
Yeah,
out.
then we gotta go.
No, I'm hungry now.
All right, so what you got
All
going
right, let's do
here?
this thing.
Cool. Well, I've got a NeoPixel project that I've got hooked up to an Arduino that is connected USB to my computer, and so I'm taking a connection to our web server, which we use Heroku for hosting, and I'm getting a continuous HTTP stream of all of our web traffic.
Mhm.
And then for the web traffic that's coming in, I'm parsing out like which web page the user loaded, and translating that into a color code, and then outputting that onto the NeoPixel strip. So it's basically like a live, running ticker of the web requests that are coming in.
Oh, I see. So
So-
like the index.html is green, and then like
Exactly.
the subpage, like your personal page, is yellow, and so you can see whenever people pick up your page.
Totally.
Okay.
And yeah, so one of the interesting things about it is it's pretty good at like revealing like anomalies as they're occurring. You know, it's kind of like you have it on your desk and you passively watch it, but you know, if all of a sudden you start seeing these, you know, unknown patterns of colors, or like, wait, that's a lot of purple. What's going on here? We found they were being crawled by a rude crawler last week, so it's pretty neat, unexpected benefit. So.
Okay.
That's really cool. We've been using New Relic, and I started. I started looking.
This is NeoPixel Relic.
Well, I started looking at it, and I'm like, their grids are starting to look like products we sell. I'm like, that's the thing, because it's like we look at the traffic on Adafruit because there's like a big rush in the morning, and right around 11 o'clock, we're trying to figure out like. Is there a query issue? Like, you don't know, and then sometimes, you know, there's denial of service attacks. Like there's all things, and this is it's a really neat way to visualize it. It also reminds me, if you saw, remember the ambient orbs a long time ago? It would tell you the weather based on like the color. I thought that was kind of neat. It makes you think about data visualization a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, definitely for something. For something on your scale, you'd probably just want to filter out most traffic, but like, you know, keep track of things like, oh, every time someone makes a purchase or sends a, you know, contact to support or something.
And then you can look for is like error codes. Like if you're getting 200, everything's good, but if you're like, that's weird, we're getting a huge number of like 500 or something, like what's going on? That's always like a little, you know, suspicious or weird. So yeah, you can have it like blink. There's all these different things you can look for that you would only notice as patterns over time. Yeah. So yeah. All right.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Email support@adafruit.com.
Awesome.
And we'll send you out a sticker.
Thank you, Rhett. And
it looks like C. Scott just joined at the last second. I don't know if he's not downloading in, so I think we'll probably just call this a show. And we'll see everybody next week. Thank you for being part of the show and tell for the last 2 years, everybody.
2 years of show and tell. Woo!
And
what's cool is every single week there's new projects.
Yeah.
Remember when you said like you started Hackaday and people were like, "There's no way you'll get a hack a day. There's not that many hacks."
I have the email that says
one a day.
I have the email that says there's no way that there's going to be enough projects to cover one a day. Right? Now there's like.
And then like also Mixing, you were like, "Oh, we're going to post like 5 times a day." People were like, "There aren't 5 projects a day."
Yeah. I can't wait. I think what we're going to see, we're going to see soon is the 3D Hangout show.
Yeah.
We're doing it in the Hangout format, so eventually people are going to be showing their projects on the 3D Hangout too, in addition to having Matt, Noah, and Pedro host it. So that'll be the next thing because we may eventually.
There's like 100,000 3D printers out there.
Yeah, there's a lot. So that'll be the next one.
Yeah.
And then later on, the biohacking show. I don't know. We're working on that.
Okay, everybody, inject yourself with this bacteria. Okay.
All right, thank you, Tony. Thank you, Roberta. Thank you, Red. Thank you, Noah and Pedro. Thank you, Lon. And thank you, Jay. We're here every week. We'll see you next week. And Ask an Engineer is up in 5 minutes. Bye-bye.